Yeah, so we started with this our web app for dictionary last time, and on our agenda there we're able to bootstrap the app, set up the routing, set up the tailwind, and at the same time set up the project assets. So today we're going to continue from there by setting up the page layouts. We need to work on the node definition or the error components that we want to show on the page when the user search something that is not you know matching what we want. For example, here when you search for keyboard, you're going to see the definition for the keyboard, and if you search for other text too, it's going to show. But what if you type something that this thing does not recognize? So we need to work on this component when you search for something we don't know about. And before we get there, we need to work on the layout first. As you can see, we have the same layout for all the pages that we're going to be building there. And since it's the same thing across, so we need to work on that layout first. Then after the layout, we start working on the header section, because that one too is the same across board, whether you're on this page or you are on the other page, like the error 404 and so forth like that. So, and at the same time, we have all the design for both the mobile, desktop, and the tablet. But based on what we checked out the last time, some of these stuff here, they're actually the same. Like the size and so forth like that. So we won't be focused more on this tablet, because the design or the text that I'm seeing here, whatever the size that is on this stuff, it's still the same thing that we have on the desktop. Even the mobile too, save. They are not kind of changing, because I can see here now the font size is 4 rem, and on small screen, so where's our small screen, which is here, I can see that okay, it's changing from mobile to tablet, but tablet to desktop, it's just the same. So which means we are just going to have the design of tablet on a last screen. The only thing we are just going to do is that we limit the width. It doesn't go past a specific width there once we enter a big screen. So let's start. The next agenda now is to set up the page layout, which is something. Do we have the component already? No, yeah, we have it already. So this is it. We have the component. What we just need to do now is to make sure that it's aligned properly, and at the same time we are putting our asset, or we are putting our header component inside this place, because this is what we need to do here. Inside the layout, as you can see, we're going to have the header section. Then apart from the header section, we're going to have this search box section, which is something we can put inside the header, but I'm going to separate it. It's going to be on its own. And at the same time, we now have the actual page that we want to show there. So which means inside this our layout, we need to have the header, and then after the header, we need to have the search box, and at the same time, we now have the actual page, which is this outlet. So any page you go to, then this is what is going to be there. But I want to wrap it in a group so that it can take the remaining space that is left inside the box, which is going to be this div here. So we're going to have the header component, which is something I'm going to create right now. So we're going to have the header, then .jsx, which is going to be the header component. And apart from that, we're going to have the search box component, which is going to be acting as the search box for us. So for now, I will just put this header. Then again, the other one that we're going to have there is going to be the search box, then JSX like this. So REFCE to generate the components there. And going back into our page, then we can import each one of them here. So we're going to import the header. So my header components, yes. So coming from there, close, and at the same time, we need to import the one for the search box. So we don't have anything for them yet. We're only focusing on the layouts. So we are going to be entering each one of them one by one. And what do I want to do here? So we just need to place them on top of each other by using flex like this, but it's supposed to be a colon one so that they can stack on top of each other there. And apart from this div will be the one that will take the remaining space that is left. So which means this one is going to be flex one like that. So let me give you BG red 500 so that you can see what is going on without using this flex here. And at the same time, this one we need to make sure that it's a minimum age of screen. So this container here should cover up the entire screen. Let me give it the BG blue 500 so that you can see what is going on there too without this main H here. So save, and going back to our page, we should see everything. As you can see, this is where it stopped. It is not covering the entire screen that I have right now, and that's the reason why I need this main H screen, so that no matter whatever that is going on, the minimum height is going to be 100 VH, which is whatever screen that the user is using, as you can see here. But this red too is not taking the remaining space that is left. So when header is done taking its own space and the search bar too is done taking its own space, whatever space that is left, we want the page to take the remaining space. So here now, I can just use this flex one, which is going to take whatever space that is left inside the container, which is what is going on right now. So the main height of 100, the minimum height of 100 VH, make sure that it covers the screen, but you can still scroll later on, because when we have the text, it's something that can go more than that screen. So it can still scroll, but the minimum is going to be 100 VH, but it can expand more if the content is more than that. And again too, the outlet where we want to put all our pages there, we want it to cover remaining space when this box is done taking whatever it needs to take on the page. And as you can see here, the red has taken over the remaining space, while this is the original box that we have there. But I'm going to remove this because we don't need it. This is just to showcase what is going on, because without those background color, it will just look the same to you, but technically they are not the same like that. Another thing that I want to do here is to give it a gap of this 5 here, which is around that 1 point something, 1.25. So there's going to be a space in between each one of them, because I don't want it to jam pack together. As you can see here, there's a space in between them, and we can actually check it to see the size, because we are dealing with Figma here. We are not dealing with the image. So with Figma, you can actually check the size or whatever the unit or whatever the measurements that the design is using there. So just click on any of the elements that you want to use, then go to the second one and hold down the control. As you can see, this thing is telling us that the spacing between that stuff at the top and this box here is around this 3.22 rem. So this gap in between them is this 3.22. So if I click on this box to measure it down to this one, as you can see, this one is 2.8, which means it's not balanced. This one here is 3.22, while this one down here is 2.81. So since it's not balanced, what I can just use here is just to use something that is close to that. So I can just use this gap of 8, which is 2 rem. Or if I want, let me use 10, which is going to be 2.5. So the other one is using 3, that one is using stuff. You can actually do it like that, but I want to use a more of a value that is equal for the two of them. And as you can see here, we have those spacing that we need. And the reason the top one is actually having more is because the thing is not having background, and there's going to be some padding around it. So that's what is adding more to that header one there. And as you can see here, this one is taking this side and this one is taking the other side. But don't forget, on our layout, on the small screen, everything just take up the whole space with a little of padding around everything. As you can see here, it's just a little space around everything. And the same thing too with the tablet, is just a little space. But once you get to a bigger screen, as you can see, the stuff is limited. The width is not going past a specific width. But our own right now is touching the edge, which is not what we want. So we can do it too inside this our layout, because it's going to be the same across. So we don't want to be going inside each one of the component and start doing this thing one by one. We can do it directly from this container since it's going to apply the same thing. So what I would do here is to have the width to be full by default, which means on small screen and above, the width is going to be full. But once we get to a bigger screen, I just want the width to be what? So the width should just be maybe 300 or what I'm seeing here. So let me check it. When we're on a base screen, what's the size? Because this is not image. You can actually go there and compare what they have. So if you look at this now, the width here is around this 46 rem. So which means the maximum width on the base screen should just be that 46. So when we get to a bigger screen, we want the biggest width to be this 46 rem like this. So once we get to a bigger screen, as you can see here, it's going to make sure that the thing is not going more than this 736. But don't forget, we need to move it to the center by using our MX Auto like that. So on small screen, there we want everything to have this around P5, but I don't want to apply it. Let me see, because it's something that might want to change. But the way I'm seeing it, we can just apply it directly from the container for the left and right. So on small screen, we have some space on left and right. The same thing too on tablet. That space is equal across board. No matter the page you are working on, is always the same. So and here too, so we can just apply it directly from our container here. So on the small screen all the way to the large screen, we want the padding of left and right to be this 5, or we can even use 4, which is 1 rem. So px4 is talking about the left and the right, which is going to use 1 rem. 4 is just mapping to 1 rem. No matter the property you're using, anywhere you see 4, that's 1 rem there like that. Anywhere you see 5, that's 1.25 and so forth. And when we get to a large screen, we already have enough space, so we don't want this thing to have px of at all. So don't add any space because we already have that space based on the limited width that we have here. Because once we get to large, which is 1024 like that, and we are limited the stuff to 300, so we have enough space already, because 1024 minus this will give us a lot of space already. So we don't need to be adding padding to the left and right. And going back to the page now, you see that we have enough space already, and this thing will never go past that size. But if you're on a small screen, it will make sure that it's 100%, but it's going to give us some padding of 1 rem by the side for the small screen, as you can see here. So any screen less than that 1024, they are going to have that padding of left and right 1 rem. But once you get to a bigger screen, you have enough space already, so we don't need to be putting much of padding on the left and right. And that's what I'm doing here. And it's going to be generic whether you're on this Error 404 page or you are on the home page. There is always going to be the same thing. So this is our home page, but the header and the search box will always be on all the pages based on the application we have there. So whether you're on the search page or the home page where you're going to be doing your search or to see the definition, or you don't even have any definition, or you get to any page or something happen, you always see this header appear and the search bar is there. So that's the reason why we have it in the layout. And we are done with our layout for now. We don't have much to do there again. We've done with the layout. So where we need to do much of work is this header section. But before we get to that header section, let us work on the definition and the error component, because those one they are kind of tiny compared to working on the header component. So now we are moving to the next agenda, which is going to be this working on the no definition or the error component. And that one is this. So we need to have a component, but that single component can do different things for us based on whether we're on Error 404 or we are on no definition. So this is the component we need to work on here. This one here that include this image, the text, and this text down here. And the text will be changing based on whether it is for definition or it is for the Error 404 page. If it is Error 404 page, it's going to be page not found. And we have different Error 404 pages that you can go online and look for sample there for the message that you can showcase, because the actual design we have there is not giving us the error 408 page. We are the one that want to add it to the list or the page there like that. And there are different design or there are different text you can find there. And I think I love this one with their text that is showing. As you can see, we lost this page and that they have some extra text that is going on there, and the button is down there for you to go back to the home page when you just visit any site that this thing doesn't know about. So let me click on the one that is showing clearly. So this is it here. Let me save the image so that we can see it, or I can just go to the page where this thing is coming from, but let me save it. That one will be better. Okay, save inside download. Let me go to my downloads. This thing is opening in another window, so you will not see it at that end. But once it's done loading, the image is going to appear on that screen. So let me open it, because we need to change the message. That is message for divination. We already have that one, but we don't have the message for the 404 page. And again, too, if you know you want to change the icon, you can change it, but I will use the same icon there. But if you look at this side, as you can see, we lost this page. We search high and low, whatever stuff we couldn't find. So let's find a better place to go. If you click on this now, it will just take you back to the home page. So we need to do something like this. And again, we are going to conditionally render this button like that, depending on whether it is not found or found. So if it is not found, that one will clear the box, or it will do something for us later on. But for now, we just remove the button, because on the actual design, we don't have any button when there is no definition for the word that is as such. So let me create that component. So let's go back into our code. So inside this box, we are going to have the message like this. So I'm calling it message.jsx, because it's going to be reused across there, whether we are on the 404 or we are on the no definition there like that. So this is message. So RAFCE. So inside this our message, what do we need? We need this our icon. There we need this one, and we need this. But this message that I want to show here, I'm going to be creating it inside object, and based on the props you are sending down to us, we are going to pick the appropriate message. And this is what I'm saying here. So const messages here. So I'm going to have messages, and inside this message is going to be object. So it's going to be not found. So when you said not found, it's going to give us the title for not found here, and it's going to give us the text for not found. So what's the title? Title is what we have at the top here, which is this not found, while the text is what I have down here. So we want this thing to be a standard stuff there by us, saving the data we want to display on the screen. Then based on the props that you are sending down to us, we pick the correct message that matches the key here. So if it is or let's just say page. So if you just say page like this, it's going to give us, or let me make it more clearer, page not found like that. And for this one, it's going to be definition, because there are two, definition not found. So when it is definition not found, it's going to have its own title like this, and at the same time, it's going to have its own text. But what are the texts that we need to put there? So for this one, it's kind of easier. We can quickly go to Figma and just copy the text, because whatever stuff you have there, you can go there, copy them if it is text, and paste it where you need it with Figma. But assuming it is image, then you have to be the one that will type it yourself there. And this is one of the advantages of Figma, because you are going to have the data there like that. So we have this. Then for this one, the title I want to use now is going to be this text. We lost this page, because you are trying to visit the page that we don't know about. So let me move this thing side by side so that I can be seeing it and just put everything. So we lost this page. And for the text, what do we want to show there? So we search high and low, but couldn't. So couldn't find what you are looking for like that. So let's find a better place for you to go, like that. So that's just what we want to display when you're on the 404 page, but it's still the same component that we are going to reuse. So this component now is going to receive the type like that. So based on the type, and what you'll be sending for the type is either this page not found or this definition. And here now we can just pick the message to show. So message to show like this, message to show is going to be these messages, because it is going to match based on what we have here. So what you are sending here must match the key of what we have here. So it have to match something like this or this one, like that. So anywhere we want to use it, the type we'll be sending will either be this or this. Based on that, it will give us the title and the text that we need for our design. So we need this icon, which is something that I've already copied inside our asset. We should have it, but I can't see it here. So it should be under the images here. So icon, let me see. I can search play moon dark, and I can't see anything like that here. So let me select it, just like what I mentioned last time. When you want to get any asset from Figma, just select it, scroll down by this side. You are going to see the option here to export based on PNG or SVG or anyone that you want to use. And as you can see, the stuff is not clear with PNG, because the size is going to the stuff will start pixelating when you export this thing out in a bigger stuff. But instead of this in exported in this way, we can use SVG. And SVG will make it possible for us to see have the same image without losing the quality, just like the way this thing is start looking somehow like this. So I'm going to export it out as SVG, and I hope it's going to show. But if it's not show, I have to export it out as PNG like that. So I already have it here in my download, but I will rename it to not found as the text. So let me drag it into our project folder there. So let me drag it under this image, and once it's done, we should have it here as not found. VS Code, what is going on? Okay, copy. Yeah, so now we have it, but it is not showing. So I know that this thing, it used to do some, because this one is not just normal stuff. Maybe it was copied from text or something like that. So it's not displaying the way I want it to be. So I will just go with the PNG version, then export it. And I think this one should kind of show there. Yeah, so that one is showing. But the problem with this is that if you try to increase the size more than what is here, it might not be clear on the screen. So which means we need to get image that is really clear. But we're just going to go with this for now. So let me delete it, because this one is not showing. It will just be showing blank on the screen. So let me delete it, then drag the one that is going to show. I've downloaded the one for PNG, and once this thing is done, it should have it in the project. VS Code, what's going on? Yeah, so as you can see, it's now showing. But the problem with this one is that we can't just increase it anyhow. So we just use the original size that we have here, which is this 4 rem. It's not too big. So the size here is saying the width should be 4 rem and the height too should be 4 rem on a big screen. But what about the small screen? They did not show us for that. So we just use the same size, whether you're on big screen or you are on small screen. So let me go back to the page, and let me go to 404 page, because we want to test it out for the 404. For the definition later on, we're just going to be the same thing. So inside this place, we need to use our image to display the stuff. So where is it coming from? It's coming from images, then not found, then .png like that. So the text for the auth is going to be not found like that for now. Then after the image, what do we need? We need the title. So we need the title, which is what we have here after the stuff there, after the image. So we need something like H3 like this, which is going to be this message to show, then dot title like that. So whatever title based on the one you pick here is going to appear on that screen. Again, we have the paragraph, which is going to be message to show, then dot text, which is going to match the text based on the title or based on the type that you supply. So if it is page not found that you send, or if it's definition not found, it will pick the corresponding title and the text that matches that. And why am I doing it like this? I'm not doing the conditional rendering here. You can do it conditional rendering here, but this one is more manageable because I can add some other type easily here, and it's always going to work. I don't need to be touching the code here again. What I will just be updating is the data that I have inside the messages. But if you know that it's just one or two like this, you can actually do it directly here by checking the type. If it matches this one, you render this for the title. But if it's not matching it and it matches this one, you render this title. But I'm doing this in a more professional way so that later on, in case we need to use this in another place for a message, we just need to add the definition here, and it will pick it up here automatically based on the type that you'll be sending into the component. So now we need to use this thing inside our 404 page. So we already have that page, which is this 404. And inside the 404, what do we need here? We just need to use our message component. But don't forget, we need to give it the type. And the type is going to be not page not found. We need to pass the correct stuff. Or let me go back there and just copy. So it must match the key that we have here. If you pass something that is not matching, then nothing will show on the screen there. So save this, and going back to the page, we should have that message. As you can see, we lost this page. We search whatever stuff, we can't find it. But now, instead of you doing this, I can just copy the same. I'll copy another title for it, and you see that it will always work. I don't need to change the code. As you can see, it will update the text, because based on the type you supply, it will come to this object and pick the one that matches this key. And based on that, it will give us the title and the text that we want to use. But this is not the one I need here. What I need is page not found. So what we need to do now is to apply the style on our element. So let me move this into small screen, because we should always work with a small screen first before we go to a big screen. So here, I'm going to have a class name. So H is going to be full, just full your parent. W2 is going to be full like this. So it is going to be flex there. So because everything will always be center. So flex school gap should be around this 4, which is 1 rem. Then text center like this, because the text should always be center. Then save, and we should have all our text position at center. But now this image is not getting big, and this is what I say here. You can't just increase this image anyhow, because it have its original size. If you increase it, it will lose the quality. But let's return it back, because by default, it's kind of a stretch. So what we can just do here is to give it definite width and height, which I can do with CSS, or just do it directly from the props or these attributes that I can just use for rem like this, and it's going to change the stuff. But why am I not seeing the image again? So let me check what is going on. But let me use the CSS to just change it instead of wasting my time. Class name. So W should just be for rem like this. H should just be for rem, because I did not specify the something is going on here. So it should be for rem like that, and save. And once you get to the page, as you can see now, it's now maintaining that side, but it's supposed to be at the center there. So we can use our MX Auto to move it to center. And the reason it's not going to center is because we reduce the size. So we need to distribute that spacing between left and right so that it can go to the center. So for the heading, so class name. So how do we know the size that we need to use here? Going back to Figma, we just need to click on the text, look by the side here. You are going to see all the properties that you need to apply on that text. As you can see, the major one that I need here is this. I've already moved it to center. The color too, we set it up already. The only thing I just need there is this font size, which is around this 1.25 rem. And I think that is a text of around this So you can use large, which is this 1.125, but what is here is 1.25, not 1.25. So we have XL. So this one, yeah, so this is the one I need. So 1.25. So save, and going back to the page, we should have the title coming out the way we want, but it should be font bold, because it should be bold on the screen like that. Again, for this one, nothing much on it. I will just leave it the way it is, but the color is different. As you can see, the color is using here is this 7575, and we've already created all the variables that we need for our application inside this Tailwind config. So let me check the one that matches that 75, so which is app gray 1. So that's the color we need to use on this one. So class name, which is going to be text, then app gray 1 like this. So save. Going back to the page, we should have the color changed to what we want like this. So expanding the screen to 768, this thing is really getting wide than what we want. But if you look at the original stuff, if you look at it, the maximum width here is this 46 rem there like that. So when the page is not found, the maximum width that this thing can go is 46 rem, which is, to me, is too much, but let me just use it. So what we are going to do here is that the weight by default should just be full, which means on the small screen just take up the entire space. But the max weight, so the max weight should be around that 46 rem. So we need to make it to be at the center by using our MX Auto. And what is this 46 rem? As you can see, it's just that same 7 rem. But I think this thing is still big to me. But let me go to the page and check it out. It's still big because they did not talk to us what's supposed to happen on tablet. So what I will just do here is mention the median. So the max width should be maybe 20 rem like this. Is when you get to a large screen that is going to use that one. Now save. As you can see, on tablet, it will use this 20 rem, which is really small. Let me use 30 like that. So on tablet, this is what it's going to use. But once we get to a bigger screen there like that, it's going to use that max width of 46. But I think this 46 too is kind of too big. So that one is 30. This one should be 35. So when it is on this screen, which is making sense like this. So we have this component that we are using now, but I want it to be at the center of the page. But for now, I can just leave it like that based on what we have there, because it did not really cover the entire stuff. So it's just stay at this particular location. But what I can just do here is to add more spacing at the top. So here we can just do PT maybe around that 10 like this, so that we have more padding at the top, so it gives us more space at the top of the page. So let's compare it. As you can see, that's the padding, which is still small to me on small screen. It's actually looking okay on the small screen, but once you get to this last screen, we need to move it down a little bit. So now on the last screen, I want the PT to just be 24. So PT 24 is around that 6 rem, which is 96 pixels like that. As you can see, it gives more space on a big screen, but once it's on a small screen or tablet downward, it's going to be using 10, and on the other screen is going to use 96 pixels there. So now we've done with this our component, so we can use it now for the 404 page, and at the same time we can use it, but something is missing here. So I said I wanted to add a button here for them to go back to the home page anytime they are here, just like the way it is here, like that. So we need to have a button which is just go home. So down here, I will just use a link. So I will not make it a button. It will just be normal link, which is coming from React Router. So where do we want to take them to? We just want to take it back to the home page. And what is going to be there? So this is going to be this at let me say right or left arrow like this. This is our entity symbol that we've talked about before. So go back like this. So save, and once you get to the page, you'll see that it will show what I have here, but it's not giving me what I want. Like that. Is this one not the left arrow? I did not type the code correctly. Let me see the copy. Like that, you can see the copy is coming out. For the left arrow, I think the A should be capital letter. So save, go back to the page, but it's still not giving me left. What's wrong with this thing? So let me remove it for now. I'm going to check it later on. What is supposed to come aside? So go back like that. But this thing should have some styling on it. So class name like that. Again, we have been doing all the design, but we did not care about the dark mode, which is bad because the design we are working on have both the light and the dark mode. But right now, I'm not doing that, which is something that we're supposed to do. But for now, I'm focusing on the light theme part. So this one, what we're just going to have there, or let me just leave it like this for now. So let me see, do we have app black, app gray, yeah, app purple, and app red. So this thing should just be on normal. So the text should just be app red like this. But when we're on a dark mode, the color should be app purple, or the text. So it should just be the text purple, or the app purple like this. So what I'm doing here is that when we're in light mode, it's going to use red as the text. Can you see that it's using purple? Because my system right now is in dark mode. That's why you see that the browser here is not in light, it's not white, it is black. So when we're in dark mode, it will show this color. But when we're in light mode, it's going to show the other one. But I don't want this thing to be picking my system setting as the dark mode. So we need to change the mode for our dark mode. So we need to change the dark mode. So what we need to put here is class. I don't want it to be using my system to determine that. So save now. And once you get to the screen, we should be seeing the red color. Yeah, so you can see now, it's using red color. It's not picking my system dark system there. It's not picking the theme for the system. So because my system right now is using dark theme, so it's going to be based on whatever we put on this body later on. So on the body, if you give it class dark, that's when it's going to switch. So now we can go to our index.html, and inside .html here, what we just need to do is to give it the class. So which class we need to give is dark. So once there is a class dark there, it will see everything as dark theme. And when there is no dark there, then to see everything as light theme, which is something we need to do when we are working on the header later on. That's why we'll come back into this. But for now, we need to make sure that this thing is actually working, because all this text, this is not the way they are going to show when you are, as you can see now, it's not using that color because it have the dark class. And if you look at what we have been told here, when we are in dark mode, the color is supposed to be white, and for the text here, this one will remain the same, and at the same time too, the background of the entire application supposed to be black. When you're in dark mode, the entire background will always be black, which is what we have here. And that's what we need to do right now, because I'm not doing it. That's the reason why you see that it's still showing white as the background color like that. And where can we do this thing? Where we can do it is inside that our app, or the CSS that we have here, because we can actually apply some stuff on the body here. So when we are in dark mode, we want to do something, but when we are not in dark mode, we want to do another. So dark, so the BG should just be app black. I think this app black one like that. So when we're in dark mode, this is the background that we want to apply on the body. So let me go back to the page and checking this in. So on the body there like that, we should have this thing having a background color, but I'm not seeing anything yet. So let me reload the stuff, and again cross check the body again. So the body here is just giving me this. So let me see. So it's not picking some of my styling. from this file yet. So where did I have? So layer base. Oh, let me move all this thing outside. I don't want this thing to overwrite my CSS. Let me move it outside of this base stuff that I put it. So saving this stuff. So again too, we have this our elements. So something is wrong here. I've made a mistake with the tag. So the tag close, we have this body, we have the body, we have the body. What is going on? So apply. Okay, encapsulator. So this is where it's complaining about. So where is encapsulator? Which one did I not close? Apply. This is what is complaining about. I'm coming because this thing is not supposed to complain. Let me see what it's saying.
Like you put in the front of that law, you put exclamation mark in the
Yeah.
front.
That's
On,
tailwind stuff. Is
oh, that's
to put
tables. Okay,
yeah
okay, okay.
is to put
Okay, I've seen it.
important. So you can actually put it in front of it. So anywhere you have it beside it, what you are saying is that it's going to generate important in front of it. So which means
Oh,
it will
no, okay,
override.
okay,
So
I've
it's not
seen
that
it. I've
one is
seen
not
it.
a so it's a
Oh,
tailwind stuff. Or no word. Why is it not seeing it? Yeah, it can see this one, but it's not seeing this. But it can see this one. So something is wrong here. It can't see this one. Is that not the same name that I use? Font inconsolator. Okay, it's not seeing it now. Maybe I type it wrongly. Yeah, it was a typo because I see nothing wrong there. Okay, so my body, I'm still not seeing anything there yet. But where is this my let me see this root. Is he having any background border color stuff? So let me go down. Let me check the computed. What's the background on it? Background. Because when we're in dark mode, it's supposed to change the color. Uh, border. What I'm seeing here is border. There is nothing like background. Yeah. So let me check. Show all. So let me see background under B A. So background color. What is it showing there? This is transparent. It was yeah. So this is transparent. There is no background color on it. Like that. So let me check. No background. Did I apply the background on some element here? So for this my div. So what did I have there? Which is this box. So going back to the style, scroll up. Do we have this is still border? Border. Why is everything having border? So let me scroll down a little bit. So we have solid. We have this padding. There's no background on it. So what's now going on? Is not picking my style for dark theme. So I have this, the base, the component, utilities. So the body, when it is this, when it is in dark mode, we want the stuff to have what is at the top. But when it is this, we want to do something else. And I think, which font am I using right now? It should be font enter like that. So I will come back into this one. I don't want it to, what's time now? I don't want it to waste time. So let me continue and get back into it later on. So 404, we are done with that one. No definition. Yeah, this one is done for now. What we need to work on is now the header, and that's where we need it. So we're going to focus more on it at that area. So page layout, I've imported my header. So yeah, so this is where we have a lot of work to do because it have a functionality there. So starting from this side, we need to work on this drop down. Then apart from drop down, we need to work on this dark mode toggle. So yeah, this is where we're going to focus on it more because we need to be toggling dark or light here based on whatever the user want to use. As you can see, there is a drop down that we need to work on there like that. So let's start. And as you can see, we have two sections inside the header. We have the logo side, and we have this side that have the this area to pick something here. And at the same time, we have this toggle there that we can use. So when it is not, this is what we have. And when it is having this in, this is what we are going to have. So let's enter the header, which I'm going to use the header tag. So inside the header, I'm going to have the link because we want it to be a logo, something that I can click on to go back to the home page. So this is going to be to, and where is it going to? It's just going back to the slash, and this is going to be the image. So inside this place, we need the image, which is going to come from images like this, then logo.svg, which is going to be logo because we already have all the assets here. So this is logo.svg under that place. So save, and going back to the application, we should have our logo appear there like that. And apart from the logo, we're going to have this other section here, and inside this section, that's where we're going to have the drop down to pick the fonts that we want. So we're going to pick the drop down, and at the same time, we are going to have the dark mode toggle like that. So yeah, I'm going to have a div like that. So inside this box, what do we need here? So we need this stuff like that. But before it gets to that one, this arrow that is here, we can actually take it as an image, or we do it by ourselves. So but what I would do is to use I will do it with this div later on like that. So I'm going to close it, make it a self-closing div. It's not going to have anything inside. We just use it to create this pipe like that. Or instead of us using this, we can actually use our HR. So I think HR is better than using div like that. So what do we need to do there? So inside this div, we need to have so inside the div, we need to have this. So this one too, we don't have it yet, so we need to create it. So it's going to be a button like that, and inside the button, we're going to have this span, and the span is that circle stuff, which is going to be changing based on whether we're in dark mode or in light mode. And beside the button, we're going to have the image, and the image here too, we're going to condition this our CSS there like that. So when we're in dark mode, we're going to show the one for dark, and when we're in light mode, we're going to show the one for the light mode there like that. But I'm going to be doing some styling, or I will not do too much of styling. But yeah, we just need to, so this should go to the images like that. So and the icon is going to be this icon moon. And as you can see, we have the one for dark and we have the one for normal like that. So icon like this, so moon, and it's going to be dark.svg. And for the second one, it's going to just be images, icon, moon, like this, SVG. Both of them are going to show, but we are going to hide them based on tailwind, whether we're in dark mode or in light mode. And how can we do that? It's quite easy to do. We just need to apply CSS like that. So class name, we only want to see this one when we are in dark mode. So we can just apply our class, what's going on VS Code. So when we're in dark mode, that's when we want it to show. So I'm just going to say flex, but by default, it's going to be hidden. I don't want to see it when we are not in dark mode. It's when we're in dark mode that I want to see it like that. And the same thing here too. So class name, by default, we want to show it, but when we're in dark mode, it should be hidden. We don't want to see this one in dark mode because this is just the normal one we want to see in light mode. And for the one at the top, we don't want to see that one when it's not in dark mode. And once we save now, you see that it's only one that is showing. When we're in dark mode, it will only show the one for the dark mode. And once I remove that stuff that I put now inside the index, so let me go back inside my index. Let me close this search box. We are not using it right now. So inside the index, you can see that I applied the class dark. So let me remove it. And once I remove it here, it will not see dark again. And once it's not seeing the dark, then it will be using the one that is meant for light. As you can see, it's changing like that. So what we just need to do is to work on this, our toggler, there like that. So we need to work on the toggle. We need to work on the toggle that we have here. So let's apply the class for that one. So the class name, what do we want to do? We want this thing to be of a specific height and width. Then we put that circle itself. So this is what we want to build here. So this box, this round box, but it has been grouped here. Let me go to where it's not grouped so that I can work on it. So let me check, is it grouped here? So it's not grouped. So with this now, I can see the size. So I can see that the width is 2.5 rem, the height is 1.25 rem. So we can just apply it there. So the width is used to be 2.5 rem like this. Then the height is 1.5 rem like this. So it's going to be flex, and then items is going to be center. So, and at the same time, it's supposed to be on the left or on the right based on whether we are in dark mode or in light mode, what is inside it. But for now, let me just leave it like that. So what is the background? The background is using this 7575, which is that our app. So the BG is going to be app gray that we set up, and what is going to be is going to be this one. So save. Going back to the page, it's going to have a border, but we don't need that border that is there currently, and we need to make it rounded. So the border should be none, rounded full like this, so that it's going to give us the edge that we want on the box. So, and as you can see, we have that button like that, but I think the weight is not, or the the weight is not that. So let me just add extra 7.5 to it, and let me go down to a small screen. And before I start doing this thing, let me put them side by side because I don't like the way it is like that. So class name, this should be flex. So this should be items, then center, because we want all of them to be center vertically there like that. So once you save, as you can see now, they are now be placed. But what we need to do here is to justify between them. So justify between like that, so that the logo will be on the left and the other one will go to the right, which is what we want. And that's the reason why we separate the group there, that we're having this section. So the link will be on the left and the section will go to the right. So inside this section too, so we need to do the same thing, which is going to be flex. Items are center like this, then the gap should be maybe around these two, because we need to give them a space, which is the drop down and this one. And again too, this div that we have down here, which is occupying everything, this one is going to have flex, items, then center, and the gap should be around that too, but this one should be around 3, and that one should be around 2, so that to put this thing side by side the way, so now they are side by side, but this one is missing, this HR is missing. I will leave it for now, but we can actually work on it by using H should be maybe H should be 4, the width should just be 1 like that, which is just going to create these 4 pixels as a width like that. So the BG should just be app gray, this one, so that we can have it at that place, but the height is still small. Let me try the 8 as the height of the stuff like that. So, and I think the width self is too much. It should be around that 2 pixels like this, which is going to give us what we want. And the gray too is really much, so let me reduce the stuff. It should be maybe this upgrade 3, which is going to give us that gap in between them like that, so which is going to look like what we have here. So this is what I'm creating. Let me even check the width. I'm actually correct. The width is this 0.0625. The height is 2 rem. So what did I use as the height here? It's the same thing, so which means we are using the same stuff. So the weight is 2 pixels, or which is the same thing as this 0 or 1 pixels rather, 0.0625 rem like that, which is 1 pixels. Once the stain is so 1 pixels. So save. Going back to the page, we should have that tiny line, but there is no space at the top. That's our header. We did not use any padding, so the padding Y, which is top and bottom, should be around this 1 rem, so that we have enough space at the top and the bottom of our components there like that. So we have this one, I suppose I'm using 4, which is 1 rem. Yeah, so now we have enough space that we want on top of the box. So inside this our button, we need to work on that stuff. But let me close this image first. Collapse all this image. Then this pan, let's give it a class name like this. So it is going to have, let me check what is the size of the stuff. So just click on the elements. There is not showing, so just select it from here, and we should have, it is locked. So why are they group? Why is it locked? Let me see. No, I want to get the size. Who designed this thing? They've already wedged everything together. But since I know the height of the parent, I can just do it myself. So the H should just be, let's just use, so the H there is 1.5, which is around that 24 pixels. So this one, I'm just going to use 12 pixels or so. Or let me use, 12 pixels. Then the width too should be 3. Then the rounded full, because it needs to be rounded full. And again, going back to the design that we have, this is how it looks like on light theme. But when we're in dark theme, the color is different. Even the background of this one too is different. So we need to apply the stuff. Here that I'm just using on the button, that I'm just using this app gray for the background. So when we're in dark mode, then the BG should be our app purple like that. So the BG is going to be app purple because it's changing. But for this one, the color is always the same. Whether, I think I can select this one. So the height is 0.875, which is the same thing as 14 pixels. So it is 14 pixels, but here I'm using 12. So let me change it. So which is going to be 0.875 rem, which is 14 pixels. Come aside. Yeah, it's 14 pixels. So this one too, 0.875 rem like this. So save. This one, whether it's on dark mode or on light mode, BG is always going to be upgrade, this upgrade 3 that I have here. So save. Let's go back to the page and see whether we have this thing. But there's no padding inside the box. So this thing, so there is no padding inside the box on left and right. So we need the padding on left and right of our button like that. So the padding of X and Y should just be around this 2 like that. And I think it's really much. Let me use 1, which is 4 pixels. So it's just a small space like that. And what do we want to do when we are in dark mode? We want everything to change. For example, here now, if I just change it to dark, you see that the background of that stuff is going to change to what I want, which is going, as you can see, the background has changed because we are now in dark mode. But this thing is not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be at the opposite side. So what we can do here is that when we are in dark mode, we want to move what is inside the button to the right side. And we can use our flex property here. So when we are in dark mode, we want to justify end. So whatever that is inside it, we want to move them to the end. And once I save it now, as you can see, it will be at that end. So it's going to be at that end when we're in dark mode. But when we're in light mode, it's going to be at the start because that's where it's going to be by default. So flex start is what it's going to use by default. But when we're in dark mode, we want to justify content to the end like that. And I don't just want to be moving all this stuff. I want to transition the stuff. So we can transition all the property, and the duration maybe it should be around this, let's say 500 like that. So for the changes, it's going to be taking that number of time to change something like that. Or we can use another method to handle it. And what we need to do now is to add event to this our button, which is going to be adding or removing dark on top of this body here like that. So we need to do const. So we need to have a const toggle dark mode like this. And what is it going to do? What this thing is going to do is to get the data that is inside the body. But how do we have access to the body from here? So we can go back to our old JavaScript here, which we can use our documents, query selector. Then we have access to what we need. and we update whatever we want to do there. So because there's sometimes there's one way you can do declarative for some of these things that you want to do. So you have to go your imperative, which is by targeting the element yourself and do whatever you want this thing to do. So when this button is clicked, we need to get the body. So const body is going to be document like this, then dot body. On the document, you can have access to the body directly. And from there, we can check whether it's having a dark mode or not. So if it's having a dark mode, we do something. If it's not having it, then we know that it is not doing it. And how do we know? So const is dark mode is going to be then the body, then dot class list like this, because we know that it's going to be a class list or name, then dot contain. So this one will tell us whether it have that class or not. And which class are we looking for? We're looking for dark. And based on this, I can actually console log it out to see what is going on. So it is dark like this. So this thing will either be true or false anytime we click on the button. So going to the console, click on this thing. Can you see that it is true? Because on the body, we actually have that dark class. And when it is true, we want to remove it. When it's not true, then we want to just remove the stuff or do something. But instead of us even going down like this, we can actually use some stuff that the JavaScript is giving us directly on that class list. What we can just do here is the body, then class list like this, class list, then toggle, because it have toggle, which is something we've used before. And what this one will do is that to check whether that stuff is there or not. If it is there, it will remove it. If it's not there, then it will add it like this. So now, going back to the page, clicking on this stuff, as you can see, it will go to that side. And once you click again, it will see that there is dark is there and it will change. And now, this one will always work the way we want it to be like that. So when you click, if the dark class is there, it will remove it. But if the dark class is not there, then it's going to add it. This is just a simple way of quickly modifying this thing. Or if you want, you can create a state to check whether you're in dark mode or not. Then based on that, you add a class there. But we have JavaScript already, and we don't even need to do too much of work like that. We can just use the class list on the element, and we use the toggle because it can do what we want there like that. So we are getting the body, and on the body, we are just toggling the class dark based on whether it is there or not. But there's going to be a problem with this later on when you reload the page. When you reload the page, it will go back to its original stuff, which is dark that is there. But let me go back into the code and remove it because we don't want to see it yet. So let me just remove the stuff, which is going to go back to the normal state that it used to be. So once saved now, you see that this thing is not going to be in dark mode. But now once you click, it will be doing it for us. And if you reload, it will go back to its normal state. But sometime on the page, you might want to retain what the user picked last. So you can save it in local storage. Then you use Yvette later on to update this thing anytime the stuff open for the first time. But for now, I don't care about that. We have other things to focus on more than that particular stuff. So click on this one. As you can see, the text here has changed to purple. And once you click here, this one is going back to red. But the background now, we need to look into that because that one too supposed to work, and we need to change the text based on our design here. So we need to update the text and again to the background of the stuff. So what I can do here is to go back into this my page layout that I have here like that. So when we're in dark mode, the BG should just be this app black like that. But when we're in dark mode, just use your normal this thing that we have there. As you can see now, it's going into dark mode, but the title is not showing. So we need to undo that one too. So anytime we are in dark mode, so dark mode, the text should just be our app gray. So our app gray, come outside, what's going on, VS Code. So our app should just use this text by default. Anyway, you don't change the text, as you can see, all of them will use this color. But if you want to update them, you can actually update them if you want like that. Let me see the upgrade 2. Maybe it's making sense. I think upgrade 2 is okay. So when we're in light mode, everything will go back to the normal. And when we're in dark mode, then to update the stuff to the design that I want it to use there like that. So dark mode, light mode here, then dark mode, and as you can see the icon too is getting updated based on what we want. The two of them are there, but we are hiding one based on what is going on. And this thing is like really possible with Tailwind. Without Tailwind, if you want to do this thing, you have to wire some JavaScript or you do some crazy CSS, because look at what he's doing here, like that. So anywhere there is a class dark on the body or whatever stuff, that's when it's going to do some stuff. And again here too, but Tailwind is handle all these things for us. And again, from the setting, we are saying that is when we add a class to the body, that's when it's going to apply dark. But if I remove this line, it will be looking at the system that you're using for dark or light. So if your system is dark theme, it will go with that. As you can see, by default, it's going with the dark. And again, as this one will not work again because we are not using that body again. So in order for this thing to work based on what we are using right now, we need to make sure that this thing is looking for dark class on the body. And this is how you can do it, to make sure that it will look for dark class on the body before you can toggle the dark or light mode. But if you don't do it like that, it's using media which is based on the system that you are currently using. But now that we are now based on the class we have on the body, then it's going to work the way we are expecting it to show on the screen. So in light mode, the color here is going to be red. In dark mode, is going to be this. And this one too is a link. So if I click on it, it will go back to the home page. But this is where I'll be stopping. In the next class there, we're going to be working on this drop down along with the fonts that we've set up, because the font's supposed to be changing too based on what we have here. So if you pick this one here, so if you pick Figma, so if you pick serif, this is what we're supposed to be seeing on all the text. And if you pick sans serif, this is how the text is supposed to come outside. And if it's this encapsulator, which is this mono, this is how the text supposed to come outside. But this is the only thing, but this thing is missing too. This background is supposed to change. Let me see. What am I using? Okay, this background is changing too when it is in light or dark mode. But we did not do that. Let me quickly add it. But I think it's okay. Color is actually okay. There, like that. So the color is actually okay to me. So when we're in light mode, this thing will be by this side. We're in dark mode, it will move it to the other side. And we are adding this in easily to the body from our header component by just toggling a class on the document body like that. So this is just a simple way of doing it. There's other way, but this one is simple because we know about JavaScript directly, and we are manipulating the body there to attach something to it. And now we have this stuff that we are showing on the screen. So let me we'll stop sharing now, and let me stop the server, then update the code and push it to your end here. And in the next class, we're going to be working on the drop down. So we can actually use some external library for drop down, but we're not going to do that. We're going to create it by ourselves too, so that we can see how to do. But we're going to work on the simple one, because creating drop down is not just a simple work, because you need to, when you want to create a correct drop down, it's something that needs to be responding to the keyboard too, not just clicking alone. It should be able to respond to the keyboard because it's not everybody that will be using mouse, or it's not everybody that have hands to interact with this your stuff. So they should be able to press tab to move around. But we're not going to focus on that. If you need a more professional drop down, there's a lot of UI library online that we can use. For example, like this Prime React here. So this is a UI library that you can use for your project to simplify things. Instead of you, as you can see, they have drop down. So instead of you creating all this thing yourself, you can actually employ a UI library that are there that simplify things. So you only just to import the component. You install it, you import the component, and anywhere you need drop down, as you can see the way it works? If the thing know that there is no space at the bottom to expand it, it's now expand it up. But if I scroll down a little bit, as you can see now, it's now expanding down. It's not going up again, because the thing is checking the space that you have at that place. Can it come down? It will show you at the bottom. But if there's no space down, then it will take it up. And as you can see, all this thing is being handled for our own is just to pass the data we want to display, and we start using it there like that. And there's a lot of them that you can use. But for now, we are going to create it by ourselves, and we are not going to be doing all these crazy stuff that you check whether you can open down or it can open to only the top like that. So as you can see, the thing is covering down. But now that I open it again, it's now open to the top because you see that there's no space at the bottom. So why do we need to open it down? That the user will scroll down. Let's just open it up so that they will see it clearly there. But if I move it down to like this, close and click on it, as you can see, there is no more space at the top. So it's now opening down. So these are some stuff that goes along with a drop down of a thing. But we're not going to be doing all this one. When you need them, you can use all this library, UI library, to handle them. There is a lot of UI library. So we have something like this maintain UI like this. So this is another UI library you can use. And each one of them come with different design specification, but it's still the same functionality. It's now left for you to use them and modify some of their components there. So they have where you can customize the stuff, and at the same time you have their components. So where is it? So let me see. Get started, theme, style, hooks, form, call. So let me open this one. As you can see, they have a lot of components that you can use here too. So here too, they should have so this combo is the same thing as like drop down. So if you click on autocomplete, this is another one that help you to complete what you are typing inside the box. Just like Google, when you are typing something, it will give you autocomplete to that. So if I type view, as you can see, it's bringing out the suggestion for this autocomplete or this combo box there like that. It add like a drop down too, and then you can do some stuff and they will give you what you need, as you can see, like that, or multi-select, which allows you to have multiple selection along with the styling, and you can customize it. So what are the props you need to send down to it? How do you style it? They have everything. Your own is just to go to their documentation page and you look at the one you need. Once you see it, you look at the way you are going to use them. So you call the component and you pass what you need to pass to it. You don't need to start designing anything from scratch yourself there. Is it the input that you need? They have it too. And they have different version of it. You see the V1, as you can see, this one is fill or the on style. So you be the one that will handle the styling yourself. Or the default one, if you don't want to do too much of work, they have the props for style, for the size, the radius, and a lot of things that you don't need with asterisk. So this one will give you the asterisk, whatever stuff with the label at the top there, like that. Or if you don't need it, so it will not show asterisk in the label. What is the label? You can pass them. If there's any error, you see that the error will appear at the bottom and the color is changing. So they've created this component for you to use, and you don't need to do a lot of work. What you just do is call the component and you pass all the props, and based on the props you are sending down to it, it will display the correct stuff, just like the way we did for this our message box that we created here. So based on the props you are sending down, it will pick the correct stuff or do whatever it needs to do, which is the same thing here. I don't want this thing to show. This link, go back home. I don't want it to show later on, but for now, I will just leave it because I only want it to show when you're on the 404 page. If you're not on the 404 page, I don't want to see it based on what we have from the design. There's nothing like go back home on that page when you have a definition that is not found there like that. So that's going to be all for today. Let me stop recording.